This is 1984 doublespeak. Zelensky threatens World War III if NATO doesn't start World War III. This is Alex Jones. He's not threatening. He's just saying it could start if we don't do something about this because it's spiral out of control. But let's see how, Alex Jones, basically what you're seeing between Jimmy and Russell Brand and that ilk right now is everybody's circling for the Alex Jones money as it goes out the door. As he starts, between his legal problems and some of his viewership falling off, they're just trying to, be under the table and catch those crumbs. So I'm curious how he takes this. So this is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday that he's ready for negotiations, but if it break down, it would lead to World War III. This is their clipping and da-da-da. Here we go.
For negotiations with him. I was ready over the last 2 years. And I think that without negotiations, we cannot end this war. So I think that we have to use any format, any chance in order to have a possibility of negotiating, the possibility of talking to Putin.
I mean, the dude sounds like a madman to me. I mean, if in my dreams, my nightmares that make me wake up sweaty and screaming at the ceiling fan, this is what a neo-Nazi Jewish president of a former USSR satellite country that wants democracy and wants industry with the West, it would sound like to me.
But if these attempts fail, that would mean that this is a third world war.
So he has a psychological warfare program where he tailors his speech to whatever group he's talking to and tells them they've got to come to his aid with a no-fly zone and strikes on Russians that'll then lead to tactical nukes and perhaps the end of the world.
And if you don't believe me, we put up our own website and our own headline and our own take on things, because that's not propaganda or psychological warfare. That's just the documents. Who cares? It's nice when you have the documents because you make the documents.
And that's what he said. He said, play the clip at the start of the show. It's up on Infowars.com. You want to see it? It was on CNN.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I got a thing.
He said, we must go to war with Russia. NATO and America must come into the fight, or there'll be World War III.
Is that how it went? Did he go, or?
That is doublespeak right out of 1984.
Is it? Or you're not doing that graphic just to make me think that? This isn't manipulative at all, Alex? Mr. Chocolate Cake?
We must have nuclear war to stop nuclear war.
Yeah, that was basically his point. That's what I took from it from the beginning. That's, at least we have Alex. We can go to him for the truth. Also, Alex is younger than me.
That's right out of 1984. Here's a quote. Oceania was at war with Eurasia. Therefore, Oceania had always been at war with Eurasia.
What the fuck does that have to do with, got it, you need nuclear war to stop a nuclear war? What? Why don't you just go like, I am become death? Why don't you destroy
But then later,
world?
Oceania had never been at war with East Asia, and so it had never been at war.
Good. Yeah, this is what we're getting. Hold on. And then, is this an ad for shit? Okay, no, he's just cutting too. All right. Future News, leading the info war. Futurenews.news. Yes, we make it up. If you want to know what the news is going to be, nothing says truth like prognostication.
What a time, my friends, to be alive on this planet. Wow.
And wow, the fact that, when alive during a time when a small stadium was going out of business and you could buy up all their screens, their Jumbotron, for pennies on the dollar. just in time to put graphics behind you that give the illusion that you're where? On the toilet at the Vatican?
Zelensky, that we're told is the second coming of Christ.
No, technically, that isn't the case. If anybody watching this thinks that is currently not the thinking. I am. Quit it, chat room. Stop it. You guys. That's not...
Has outlawed all opposition parties. He'd already outlawed the conservative parties and other parties that opposed him and banned any...
Yeah, he banned the conservatives. That's what it was. Not the Russian sock puppets who are trying to gut the country. The conservatives.
TV stations or media that criticized him a few years ago.
Yeah, the guys who didn't want gay parades because it might piss off Putin. I don't know why.
And locked up tens of thousands of political dissidents. But now he banned the remaining...
Tens of thousands. All right. That's a big deal. I remember that story. Do you guys remember the big rounding up? No.
11 liberal opposition parties. No other parties are allowed to operate. He seized control and announced all media is being put into one channel now. That
very BBC.
Is real freedom. And he threatened nuclear war. He said, if you don't start a war with Russia and attack them, NATO, there'll be nuclear war.
Yeah. Zelensky bans 11 opposition parties labeled pro-Russian, seizes media. From Zero Hedge. Okay. By the way, you do realize under Yanukovych, they had Russian sock puppets running the country that escaped the country, and there's still remnants of that shit going on. The same thing happened around the American Revolution. Can you imagine if Alex was alive then, writing fucking parchments, a little candle on his desk going, good evening, we have the parchments. Welcome.
If you don't start World War
Welcome to parchmentwars.com.
III, there will be World War III. Here is a
Did he say World War III like that? He was just, yeah.
Clip of him on CNN with Bilderberg Group member Fareed Zakaria.
Will it be hard? Will it be painful for you to have to sit down with Putin were he to agree and negotiate with him?
I'm ready for negotiations with him. I was ready over the last 2 years. And I think that without negotiations, we cannot end this war. So I think that we have to use any format, any chance.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. I recognize you're a bastion of truth, like our dear friend Jimmy Dore, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm fairly certain that this Fareed Zakaria interview with Zelensky did not start and end on TikTok. Was this only for the CNN's TikTok crowd? They just didn't air it. They figured people wouldn't be interested. So they just, if you want to see some of the interview, we put it on our TikTok. It's for the kids, you know.
To have a possibility of negotiating, the possibility of talking to Putin. But if these attempts fail, that would mean that this is a third world war.
Yeah, oh, by the way, this is a third world war. Right. Not, right, Hal Revere. The documents are coming. The documents are coming. Just paper flying out of my saddle. Not World War III, a third world war, which basically it kind of is. I mean, there's an argument that we've been in World War III on a cyber level for about 2.5 years. It's been a Cold War, or that the Cold War was World War III, and this is like World War 4.1 beta.
Okay, so there you go. Now,
yeah, well, that settles it. He warns of it, so he's going to start World War III if he doesn't get what he wants. Oh, wait, that's Putin.
Biden bragging about the bombing of Belgrade for 78 days in the mid-1990s in 1999, bragging about what happened. And this is what the Russians are pointing out. The UN went in and bombed out a country and literally did more intense bombing than Putin's doing, targeting even...
Uh-huh.
Million targets, blowing up Chinese embassies, you name it, using depleted uranium.
Chinese embassies. That's curious. All right.
And that's all liberal and trendy and good. It was all based on a fake ITN BBC report that people were starving to death when it showed a man with tuberculosis with his hands on a fence wanting into the UN food station. But they said that was a man in a Serbian concentration camp. So Hitler's always invoked by both sides in anything since World War II. It's incredible. But here he...
Yeah, and it's just so unfair. Thanks, Alex, for bringing that up. It's so unfair to, castigate Hitler in the middle. I mean, what did Hitler do to deserve this?
Bragging about the war crimes of bombing Serbia.
Different. I just want to know what you suggest, because back then, when I was in your position, I was suggesting we bomb Belgrade. I was suggesting that we send American pilots in and blow up all the bridges on the Drina. I was suggesting we take out his oil supplies. I was suggesting very specific action. And isn't it interesting that we...
And
you don't want the... So the answer before and after, and the question about it isn't relevant, Alex? I mean, you got all that shit all over your desk. What was the context of what he was talking about? Are you really going to make me go and look up that whole fucking C-SPAN video? Jesus.
oh, we've got the endless footage on the news. Bush Sr., little evil son, another warmonger, along with Bill Clinton, delivering wreaths.
Yeah, I remember when he was Alex was always trying to warn us about Bush until he wasn't.
To the big Ukrainian church in D.C., saying they're sorry for the war crimes of Putin, when those two launched multiple illegal wars apiece. Obama also did the same thing. 11 million dead under their belts.
11 million, just in general?
Obama, Bush, and Clinton from civilian deaths from starvation. But isn't that the name of the game?
Oh, from starvation. Because that's what America's been about for 3 decades, is starving people to death. That's been the goal. Thank you, Alex, for bringing this up now. Because obviously it's bothered you this whole time.
Speaking of that, we told you it was coming in my seminal film, The Obama.
Your seminal fin. I mean, you are kind of whalish.
Deception. I spent 10 minutes in that film on carbon taxes and how they would soon, within the year 2025, ask for you to give up your pets. Well, now BBC, Bloomberg, and others are saying, kill your dog and kill your cat to stop Putin. I'm not joking. It's all coming up today. They're off.
All right. Well, I would love to see that clip. Kill your dog to stop Putin. I'm sorry. Do we have surface to air puppies? What the fuck? And also, what the fuck is this in the foreground? What kind of satanic bullshit are you doing on the weekends?
Bring a dystopian future. They are
the latest. Give up pets to save the planet. According to animal charity PDSA, over half of adults in the UK own a pet.
You should.
That's Good Morning Britain.
Turn over everything. It's a war on life. It's hard to believe.
It's a war on life. Can you play the rest of that shit? Okay, all right. Dick juice with lead in it. Right. Okay, whatever. Selling shit, and then they come back with the gamma turned way down.
Until it sells out. Get X3 right now exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com for 50% off. Is it true? Everybody's asking me this. I was on.
Is it true that they want us to kill our pets to stop Putin? How about that?
Shows this morning, and both shows asked me on TV, on radio. They said, is it true, like I'm the Oracle or something, that they're going to...
Yeah, like you fucking know, right?
Kill Putin. And the answer is absolutely they're going to try.
Thanks. Wait, definitive. Are they going to kill Putin? Absolutely, they're going to try. How do you know? Well, you'd think they would, wouldn't you? Sure. And if they succeed, he'll be dead in then I'll go, yep, they tried and they were successful. And if they don't, I can say, well, they tried, but they weren't. So I can just say yes. It's unfalsifiable. It's fantastic. As prognostications go, this is fucking. I mean, you do have a Punxsutawney Phil kind of a look about you. Why are you looking at me like that? You look disappointed, Alex.
And that's why Lindsey Graham on the Armed Services Committee is running around saying 3 times now, Russia, kill Putin and we'll let you out of this.
Is that what it is? Why does he look like a guy who's just yelling this shit on a bus?
And that is something that's done in a lot of countries throughout history of the emperor.
Yeah, that happens. I understand that's happened in history. The old Robert the Brucey kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice when you could draw something that could happen from a line of things that happened occasionally over 5,000 years.
Doesn't do what the establishment likes, they'll get rid of them. But the establishment in Russia.
That's what it is. It's always been, that's the problem. If the establishment doesn't like the dictator, that's what they,
was behind this Ukraine situation. So I wouldn't hold your breath, but there have been a lot.
I would hold my breath. I got to admit that. If I was around you, Alex, I would hold my breath. There is no way that studio doesn't smell like a beer cushion in a Mexican restaurant. It's just not possible.
Assassination attempts. But when you see stuff out of the Mirror hyping it, saying, oh, spies say it's going to happen, what, the same 25 intelligence heads that told us the Hunter laptop was fake?
It is. Hey, you showed a picture of that article. Show me a picture of the Hunter Biden laptop.
Ones that told us Trump was a Russian agent?
Come on. Yeah, put it up there. Russian elite plan to poison Putin and have chosen successor claim spooks. Kremlin insiders are plotting to remove Vladimir Putin by poisoning him, a Ukrainian intelligence body has claimed. From Chris Hughes, defense and security editor, Mike Lynn, reporter on The Mirror. Path of sizes, sensitive, but the goal is, okay, they took the graphics out for him. According to the chief directorate of intelligence and Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, a group of influential members of the Russian elite have hatched a plan aimed at toppling the president. Yeah, this may or may not be true. And
those liars, when they say it's going to happen, that's just affirmation voodoo crap.
I see. Affirmation voodoo crap. I don't you mean Operation Voodoo crap? I think that's how they affirmation voodoo crap. They're calling for it. They're just it's like The Secret. That's what they're doing. They're just trying to will it into existence. People watch this shit? This is the show? Holy hell.
They don't know it's going to happen and the Russian ruling class is going to kill Putin. They're just hoping.
No, they're just hoping.
Some weak-minded person hears that and believes it. Russian.
That's it. And just goes, they're talking about me. It is up to me, Yakov Smirnov, who just happened to be in Russia when this was happening. No one knows at what time history will choose them, but they have chosen me.
Plan to poison Putin and have chosen a successor, claim the spooks. Kremlin insiders are plotting to remove Vladimir Putin by poisoning him.
I already read that part.
Ukraine intelligence body has claimed, the same ones that told us about the ghost of Kiev and the massacre at Snake Island and all the act.
Well, no, those guys really did say that. They feared them dead. They're alive, but that exchange was real. And as far as the ghost of Kiev, prove he's not real. I mean, it sounds like propaganda to scare the living shit out of Russians, and it may very well have worked. So what?
This is an actors they caught going to rubble sites and posing like they'd been climbing out of it with their babies.
Actors? Oh, I see. So are these the same Sandy Hook actors, you fuck? How many crisis actors? Honestly, as an actor, I just feel like this is an industry I need to crack into. Does SAG cover crisis actors at this point? Because there seems to be a shit ton of work for them. And I know what you're thinking. It seems like it would be a lot simpler just to film shit as it happens. But apparently they've got second callbacks and they got to bring these people in.
They brag that Zelensky's so good at lying to everyone. So no, I don't think that is. I don't think that is an imminent thing, but it definitely is in.
Is this just what filling time looks like?
The cards. But what's really going on is
Tell me
Zelensky, depending on what country he talks to,
yeah, obviously he's gonna, if he speaks to France, he's gonna go, at the end, if Russia wins, no more cheese, and then he goes to England. I'm gonna kill my throat just even pretending to talk like this asshole. Then he talks to the Germans, and he's like, they're gonna take all the beer and also cheese and pretzels.
Yes, he invokes Pearl Harbor and 9/11.
Right, so that the people that he's talking to get the reference, and
Schwarzenegger invokes January 6th because, his enemy's the American people. But so.
Oh, is it? Well, I mean, he has killed a lot of them, mainly in Commando. I think that was the highest body count.
He goes to Israel and says, there's a final solution. Putin's a Nazi. He's going to kill all the Jews. Patently fake, patent lie. Hell, 70% of the Russian oligarchs just fled to Israel. They're Jewish. They're also
yeah. Gee, I wonder why the Jewish oligarchs would flee to Israel when Putin has no plans to harm any Jews at all. Wouldn't you think that okay, if your evidence that Putin has no intention of harming Jews is that rich Jews are fleeing,
Putin. Just absolutely asinine. It's like claiming Trump's anti-Israel. It's preposterous.
Well, no, I mean, it's in line with the idea that there are evangelical Christians, for example, that want the Jews to be wiped out so that Christ comes back. And so setting up these things that will bring about the end of the world are necessary, like, the moving the capital to Jerusalem, reclaiming the temple on the mount, shit like that.
So he goes to other countries and told the Germans 2 days ago, you are responsible for a new Holocaust. So he has a psychological warfare program.
Or he knows his audience and is speaking to their concerns because he has limited time and he's in a real threat situation, as opposed to in a cushy studio in Austin, Texas, that looks like shit but costs millions of dollars, with like layers of bullshit, like I told you so's laid out and like fanned across your desk. Like an iPad wouldn't do it. I mean, honestly, you can't have a screen built into the thing where you can just swipe. At this point, you're just killing trees just to look well read.
Where he tailors his speech to whatever group he's talking to.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, you wouldn't know anything about that, Alex, because you're always talking to the same group. Again, this is just like Jimmy Dore. You're not fucking converting anyone.
And tells them they've got to come to his aid with a no-fly zone and strikes on Russians that'll then lead to tactical nukes and perhaps the end of the world.
Or, if, I don't know, if you were conspiratorial minded like I am, I'm full of these crazy conspiracy theories, that one of the things you could do is, as part of your messaging while you're getting arms and support from these countries, is ask for something they won't give to undermine the argument that Russia would have that this is really a war with NATO, not with Ukraine, so that they can use it as a pretext. So you keep asking for a no-fly zone that you don't need and you're not going to get, so that Russia can't then go and say, look, they got a no-fly zone. And no, too Machiavellian, Alex.
That's what he said. He said, play the clip at the start of the show. It's up on Infowars.com. You want to see it. It was on CNN. He said,
is this shit looped?
We must go to war with Russia. NATO and America must come into the fight, or be worse.
This is. The fuck is this? Is this loop again after the? Yeah, there's the UN, and then some ads, and then is there something different here, or is this just a thank for subscribing?
And now, because so many Americans know that giving in to tyranny doesn't make it go away, a lot of great sponsors are coming along to support us. And EvaTac is one of those companies.
Look at this. EvaTac. EVA TAC Plus.
EVATACplus.com. When you go to that website, the site right here on screen, you get access to just amazing tactical gear and bags and knives and daggers and so much other survival gear. All
magnetic gun mount. Sweet. And a laser sight and a backpack where you can pretend you're in the military.
Is just the very best.
And then something to pick your teeth with.
You're going to find out there. But if you were trying to buy one of these knives and they're
an EV Sport water bottle, get them before they're sold out.
The same.
A rescue knife with the digital ice handle in case you need rescuing from the tundra.
At one of the big stores like.
All right, this is just an ad at the end of this. This fucking. Okay, going back to Jesus. Oh, look, he's selling the knives in person. Fucking hell, he's just QVCing this bullshit.
Line, and it is so inexpensive. It's ready to ship. It's quality.
Yeah, you won't have to wait for it. It's and it's a great cure for COVID. You just stick it up your keister, give it a couple of turns. Don't do that. And it'll clear you right out. Beats a light bulb, Trump?
And they are financing the InfoWar. The folks over at EvaTacPlus.com.
Oh my God, it's a fucking hell. Just garbage. And again, what has happened to Alex Jones ultimately? What are we really watching? Every time one of his clips come up, and occasionally people will pick a line out of his stuff and put it on. Oh, dear God, did you see he said this? Ignoring entirely the absolute boring circular logic bullshit he slaps up on the internet every goddamn day. Dull as fuck. I'm surprised he doesn't just sell butter knives. There is, honest to God. I know people who are worried about Alex Jones. Hey, did you hear what Alex Jones said? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody. They might have used to. Again, this is he really spiked back when there was a when like 2014, 15 when trolls really had a job. Remember that shit? Remember when trolls were a thing? Hi trolls. There's some in here. Remember when you guys had a real job? That's basically when Alex was at his peak, right? And now it's just basically QVC for preppers. That's all. And then he's just got to blather in between stuff just to fill the time. So take solace in that, folks. Enjoy that.